What would you do if, during a snowy walk, you came across a beautiful woman who apparently seemed extremely interested in you? This is the gorgeous Yuki-onna, the Ice Lady of Japanese folklore. But be careful. Despite her charming, kind, and seductive appearance, Yuki-onna is one of the most dangerous yokai in Japanese folklore. Today's video details the history of this fascinating Japanese entity that has gripped the imagination of the Japanese archipelago folk for centuries. Yuki-onna is a sight of ethereal beauty, able to hypnotize anyone who crosses her path. Her skin is a spotless white, like freshly fallen snow. Her eyes seem to pierce the soul of anyone who looks into them, unlocking their deepest fears and desires. She personifies winter and the intense cold. Her appearance during snowstorms represents the unrelenting force of nature, able to bring both beauty and destruction. She often leads travelers to death with her icy breath, or causes them to get lost in the snow and never return. Her lips harbor a deadly kiss, which freezes the soul and steals the life of its victims. Her slender, graceful body moves with an otherworldly poise, floating over the snow like a ghost. Her long, pale fingers, tipped with sharp, claw-like nails, are capable of becoming lethal weapons, puncturing flesh and freezing blood in the veins. The motivations behind Yuki-onna's search for victims in the snow vary in different stories. Some narratives tell of her quest for revenge, looking to punish those who have wronged or forsaken her. In others, she craves love and human connection, luring men into her icy trap in the hope of finding a partner who will accept her for who she is. Yuki-onna is portrayed in some legends as a lonely and bitter entity, who isolates herself from the world and punishes those who enter the frozen realm. Her revenge can be aimed at men who have betrayed her, or people who have disgraced nature and the purity of the snow. In these instances, she becomes a punishing figure, representing the unforgiving force of nature and the aftermath of selfish and cruel acts. She may fall in love with men and even marry them, but these relationships are always marred by tragedy and the impossibility of a happy conclusion. In such cases, Yuki-onna becomes a tragic figure, embodying the human desire for love and connection, but also the impossibility of overcoming the obstacles dividing the human and supernatural worlds. No matter her motivations, Yuki-onna is always guided by her own nature, which is as cold, ruthless, and wild as winter. Her deeds may be cruel and spiteful, but they may also be driven by a desire for love and connection, revealing the complexity of her soul and the depth of her legend. Yuki-onna wields a supernatural array of powers that summon the harsh winter. Her mastery of ice and snow is unmatched, allowing her to shape and handle these elements with deadly grace. With the flick of her pale hands, she can cast vicious blizzards, wrapping entire landscapes in an unforgiving white blanket. Her icy touch is deadly. A single brush of her fingers can freeze flesh and bone, turning her victims into ice statues. A sense of fear pervades the hearts of those who encounter her and are familiar with her history and legend, knowing that one hug from Yuki-onna means a cold, silent death. But her powers extend beyond just ice and snow control. She can merge with the winter landscape, becoming invisible in blizzards. Her presence is felt in the icy air that slashes the skin and the oppressive silence that precedes her appearance. The element of her legend represents the merciless essence of the natural world, where survival is uncertain, and death can come suddenly and unexpectedly. Yuki-onna reminds us that, however hard humanity tries to subdue nature, it remains undaunted and inexorable. This inherent duality in Yuki-onna, the attractive and destructive woman, resonates with the archetype of the femme fatale, the female figure who wields beauty as a weapon, seducing and controlling the men she entices. This representation may be construed as a mirror of male anxieties and insecurities surrounding female power, an ancestral fear of being overpowered and destroyed by the woman one desires. Besides standing for cruel nature and dangerous beauty, the Yuki-onna also symbolizes life's fragility. With its fleeting beauty and purity, snow rapidly melts in the heat, just as Yuki-onna fades with the arrival of spring. Her very existence is dependent on cold and snow, and once these elements are gone, so is she. This temporary condition reflects the fleeting nature of human experience. Yuki-onna reminds us that life is fragile and transient, and that we should enjoy every moment. Her legend reminds us of the impermanence of existence and the necessity of recognizing and respecting life's vulnerability. Japan's harsh winters, with their snow-covered landscapes, piercing winds, and freezing temperatures, provided a powerful trigger for Yuki-onna's myth. The unforgiving and dangerous character of winter, with its snowstorms bound to bewilder and freeze unprepared travelers, was behind the image of Yuki-onna as an embodiment of death and danger. Winter's isolation and loneliness, with its long, dark nights, also provided the inspiration to create Yuki-onna as a solitary, mysterious figure who roams the snowy mountains. The white blanket erases the familiar faces of the landscape, providing an apt environment in which illusions can flourish. Yuki-onna's chilly beauty, with her snow-pale skin and long hair, echoes the austere and dangerous beauty of winter. Although beautiful, snow can be deadly, freezing those who dare to wander in its grasp unprepared. The perils of winter, such as hypothermia, freezing, and disorientation, are also seen in Yuki-onna's stories. This depiction as a personification of the dangers of winter is a warning to those who underestimate the dangers of cold, reinforcing the importance of abiding by nature and its threats, and keeping safe and warm to avoid the relentless cold brought on by Yuki-onna. Like many folktales, Yuki-onna's legend is not a single piece and has fascinating variations, varying from one region of Japan to another. In Miyagi, she is known as Yuki-banba, whereas in Yamagata, she bears the name Yuki-joro, the snow prostitute, probably a reflection of the dangers faced by women traveling alone during the harsh winter. In Miyazaki and Satsuma, Yuki-onna is called Yuki-bajo, the old woman of the snow, referring to an older figure, perhaps tied to an ancestral wisdom. These regional variations are not just naming differences, but adaptations of the legend to the customs, beliefs, and landscapes of each Japanese locality. Yuki-onna has been featured in many literary works, from traditional tales such as those by Lafcadio Hearn to modern novels. Her figure touches on themes of love, loss, ephemeral beauty, and the power of nature. She is often portrayed as a powerful and beautiful creature in anime and manga, and can be an ally, enemy, or romantic interest, displaying Yuki-onna's sheer versatility. With her astonishing beauty and lethal abilities, Yuki-onna remains a central figure in Japanese folklore, inspiring artists, writers, and filmmakers to this day. Her story, which morphs and evolves through the ages, bears witness to the wealth and depth of Japanese culture, a legacy that never ceases to fascinate and puzzle us.